Good morning, Savages. This is Savage Sunday, and I'm your host, Eli. And we are going to be talking about something that is a little light, but I try to make it as profound as possible so that we can kind of gain some context. So we are going to be entering into a series that I call Asylum. As some of you may know, I am a music artist, and I crafted an album that was based off of mental health and the stigmas that surround it. So I wanted to create an album for people that, feel lost, or people that feel like they're trapped in their life, and to give, some hope that you're not alone. And that's kind of the context that we're going to be going into. So today we are going to be talking about the waiting room. All right, so with the concept of asylum, right, you're thinking about a place where you're going to find healing and health, and we'll talk more about it next week. But when we're looking at self-admitting into a clinic of some sort, there's always the waiting room, right? This is the place that you come to where it's like you go through that checklist and you start to see what it is that you're dealing with, and then you start to kind of come to terms with doing self-inventory, right? And at that point in time, it's going to be easier for the physician or whomever is going to help. It kind of gives them a little bit of a launch pad to start with. So this is what we're going to be talking about today: self-actualization. When you've come to the place where you start to say, what am I feeling? How long have I been feeling this? When did this start? Why do I feel the way that I feel? Those are things that are part of the checklist, right? We want to take inventory of our lives and start the healing process. But the only way to start the healing process is, number one, to know where you've been, and number two, have an idea of where you're headed. Sometimes we don't have all the answers. Well, not sometimes. We never have all the answers. But is it up to somebody else to get the answers on our life or on our issues? Or is it up to us to find out? If you've gotten this far feeling as lost and as helpless as I've been, you're not alone. But we can do this together. We can figure this out together. Before we go into anything, I do want to put a disclaimer. I do music. I love it. It's my therapy, and I love to connect with others. But this isn't a shameless plug so that I can get you to start listening to my music, because if you don't listen to it, that's not it's not the goal here. If you want to, fine. I'd love for you to hear what I have, because it's my heart. But the album was constructed in a way so that I can connect with people. And over the next several weeks, we're going to be unpacking the things that I'm talking about, not so that you can run back to the lyrics for reference, but more so that you can understand the heart behind what we've got going on. So when we're looking at inventorying our lives, let's look at it like a GPS, right? You're trying to go from here to there. But if anybody has ever used a GPS before, you can't find the actual coordinates to point B until you understand where point A is, right? And then everything in between is what leads you there. Sometimes there's twists, there's turns, there's heartache, and there's troubles and struggles. But there is triumph at point B, and we can get there. I want to use an illustration for why it's important to self-inventory. Spoiler alert, if anybody has not seen the movie Us, I'd suggest you stop now, maybe watch that. I don't want to give anything away, but if you have, we can move on. All right. In the movie Us, there is a girl Adelaide that is putting on a front for like the entire movie. The entire movie, she's trying to portray a good-hearted person that's running away from her demons, and she'll do anything to masquerade those dark thoughts, or to masquerade who she truly is. And then, you know, you're introduced to a character named Red, who is just trying to reclaim her life. Now, what we find at the end of the story is that Red was actually the true essence of Adelaide that has been suppressed by her darkness and has been locked away for years. And all she wanted was to be free. Free to live, free to love, free to be. And Adelaide kills her. And at the end of the story, the darkness overcomes the true nature of a person and continues to live a lie. Maybe she's not the one that's affected, but for the rest of their lives, her family will have to deal with the secrets of her darkness. And, you know, funny thing about all that is that darkness cannot stay hidden for too long, because, once again, spoiler alert, her son knows by the end of it all. And how traumatic is that when you can't even shield the people you love from the darkness that you have inside of you? Everybody has it, and everybody deals with it. But if you're dealing with it by yourself, it's very possible you can end up with the same fate that Red had, where your darkness overcomes, it wins, and then everybody else is affected afterward, having to live with that darkness. But together, we can find wholeness, we can find healing, and we can move forward with a brand new life and with brand new perspective. Next week, we are going to be diving in to the concept, number 1, of Asylum. We want to set the groundwork for where we're moving, and we'll be able to unpack things along the way. If you're watching this and you feel lonely, if you feel like you just don't understand, or you just don't have the will to carry on, just hang out with me for a couple of weeks. I want to see everybody better. I want to see everybody whole. I want to see everybody healthy. So I urge you, just come along with me on this ride, all right? And we'll get better together. If you want to reach out to me at any point in time, please feel free to reach out at churchforsavages@gmail.com. I check that email every day. You know, if you ever want to chat, or if you ever want to just talk. I want you guys to have a great week, and I will see you again next week. Until then, God bless, stay safe, stay sane. This is Savage Sunday.